like that, right? And something like that, like say information. Now, when it becomes red, that means your blockchain is, someone is trying to tamper with your blockchain, right? Because all the informations are differing. So if someone tries to tamper with the blockchain, they need to mine the entire blockchain again, right? Once they will mine it, then only each and every individual, so only this block is valid right now, rest of the other blocks are valid. So that's why it is very tough to tamper a blockchain. What we need to do is, then we need to go ahead and mine each and every block. Someone cannot go ahead and write down, I mean, go ahead and tamper or mine the fourth block instance, right? So you need to make sure you go ahead and you mine the entire blockchain. You see this block is valid, but then this block is not valid. So you will clearly able to identify that third block in the entire blockchain is not valid. So no one can come into your blockchain and they can go ahead and tamper it, right? So I would give you a time, guys. You play with it. It has a video to understand as well. It is showing the transaction. I'll not take time to go into deep this one, and I'll just not brief in detail, but you can always go ahead and play with it. This is the link we need to follow. How to use this visualization. So what you can do is you can go ahead and see this, guys. Just a second. Yeah, this is the right link. So you go ahead, and this guy has provided the understanding as well, how to use those tools to conceptualize and use the blockchain terms, and you can play with the blockchain terms and you can have your fundamentals clear. Make sense, everyone? Are you all good so far? I hope I'm not rushing and trying to cover as much as possible. Yes or no? Very good. Now, to go ahead, this image is not pretty clear, but then you'll be able to correlate easily. So basically what the blockchain will have, just to give a glance, there are multiple nodes in the blockchain, like we have seen in the images. There will be a multiple nodes in a blockchain, like node 1, node 2, node 3, node 4, likewise. And then each node will have a blockchain. A blockchain will have what? So it will have a header, transaction, previous blocks information, and the transaction header. So this will be your blockchain. And then each blockchain will have what? So each blockchain will have a block. A block will have what? So block will have a previous information, timestamp, nonce, a Merkle tree is basically a consensus, and the transaction. So this is how your visually your blockchain will look like, right? In the real world, when you're using the blockchain, there would be like millions of blockchain nodes involved, right? If it is a public blockchain, it's a millions of nodes involved. So you can understand the complexity it holds and why no one can go ahead and tamper it. And plus it is client to client, so you are not relying on some central authority and use it away, right? Any question in this image or conceptualization, fellows? Yes or no? Very good. I want everyone to give it a participation. It will not take much time, guys, just a few seconds. Perfect. All right. Anyone else? Very good. Thank you. Now, you see how the transaction is being executed, right? So each and every blockchain transaction I have illustrated with a very simple image so you can correlate easily, right? So firstly, what will happen in your blockchain? You see the blockchain. Firstly, what will happen is your transaction will be initiated. So there would be a smart contracts. What is smart contracts? I'll give you a glance. So smart contracts are nothing but a business logic which has been written. The programs are in a blockchain where the business logic has been written are called smart contracts, right? So those smart contracts will, what they will do, they're going to go ahead and broadcast or they will initiate the transaction, right? Once the transaction is initiated, the transaction will be broadcast, right? So transaction will broadcast means every peer in the node will get information about transactions which is being shared, right? Then what will happen once the transaction is broadcast, everybody is agreeing, like they do the meeting, for example, like we do the meeting in a way, everybody will get agreeing, and then after everybody agrees, what they will do, they will generate a new block, right? Once the new block is found, it will be added to a blockchain, right? So it's a very simple visualization of transaction process being happen in the blockchain. Are you all aligned? Yes or no? I'll send a description of what we are discussing, a very detailed doc for you to go through in a couple of days once this session is happened. But are we all aligned? Just to give you a glance how the transaction is being happening in the blockchain. Any questions we have? Any questions we have? Because the transaction is being created, then it will be broadcast. The new block will be added through the mining process or the type of blockchain, because not all the blockchains are using the mining. We will discuss in a bit for it. All right. Are we all clear in the transaction part? Very good. Perfect. Now, what are the advantages, right? We already discussed about the advantages. I'll just give it a glance. So for you all to correlate, right? So these are the advantages we have in a blockchain. It is decentralized. I think we don't need to discuss now. Everybody is aware. It is transparent. It is immutable, so that you cannot alter anything. Nothing can be altered. It provides highly available information, so you don't need to rely on anyone to give you information. It using the cryptographic technologies such as hash and the cryptographic algorithm, so it is highly secure. Your dealing internally faster, your dealings becomes faster because you are not relying on third parties to deal with, right? And it's highly cost saving because like I said, there are intermediaries will be discarded, so that it is highly secure and cost saving, right? Plus you can create your own smart contracts and business logic. If you're using the private blockchain, you can define your own smart contracts and business logics through the blockchain, which component which is called smart contract, and you can write it down, right? So there are always not like these are the advantage, but it's not that there are always an advantage of a blockchain. There are few disadvantages as well, right? You cannot fit blockchain everywhere, guys, right? So the first and most important limitation of a blockchain is scalability, right? Like I say, I'll give you the detailed brief on where blockchain is answer and where blockchain is not answer. But just to give you a glance, to scale a blockchain is little bit critical, right? So that's why scalability is a question. Adoption is a huge challenge because of there are traditional setup there, and changing the setup, traditional setups with the organization or the entities is a little bit challenging. So adoption is a limitation with the blockchain. Most of the governments even are now involving, like 2021 is a year of a blockchain. So most of the regulations are aligning, but still there are not a concrete policy being made of the users of the blockchain, but slowly they're being updated. So one of the limitation with the blockchain is regulation, right? It's relatively immature technology, so you need to know it. I mean, right? Like I teach Hyperledger Fabric, which is widely used blockchain framework in an enterprise. There are, even if you count in India, there will be not more than 50,000 developer of a blockchain, right? Does this number dazzles you guys? Does this number dazzles you? In the population of more than 30-40 lakhs of software developers, you can't even get 50,000 developers of a blockchain. Making sense, everyone? So people are not aware yet about the personas because technology is a little bit new, and they think that it is a little bit tough to implement, but it is not. So understanding and relatively immatureness, understanding they have about the blockchain, that also makes a little bit tough for it, but there is a huge opportunity, right? Privacy and confidentiality, every use case doesn't want the privacy. So where you don't want the privacy, the blockchain is not an answer as of now. Then I'll come back to solutions as well, not to worry. So there are always a tweak, right? You want to use a blockchain, but you don't want to use everything in a blockchain. There is a solution, right? Make sense, everyone? Yes or no? Are we all good? Yes or no? Are we all clear with what are the advantages, what are the disadvantages? Just to give you a crux of it. Yep. Perfect. Now, what are the types of blockchain, right? So, I think we have discussed couple of types of blockchain as of now. Yes or no? During the session so far, we have discussed a few types of blockchain. What do you think? What are those types of blockchain, guys? What are the types of blockchain I have discussed so far? Come on, come on, come on, come on. I want everybody to give this answer, whatever you understood so far. What are the types of blockchain we discussed? We discussed about the public blockchain, right? I have given you a hint. Let's say, let me give you a hint. We discussed about the public blockchain, right? What was the another type? Public blockchain and a private blockchain, public and private, correct? So it's not only a public and private blockchain. There are multiple types of blockchain because you cannot use public blockchain anywhere, right? So public blockchains are basically, as your name suggests, like a Bitcoin is a public blockchain, right? Where everybody is involved. But let's say you want to implement a blockchain in your organization or for your organizational uses, you'll go for the blockchain solution, which is a private blockchain or maybe a combination of both, right? So there are only a consortium or a group of individuals, basically, let's say a banking system, right? A bank wants to make their own blockchain implementation. Then Blank will do what? They will make their own consortium and they will use the private blockchain because there are some rules and regulation needs to be followed irrespective of they are using the blockchain. Make sense, everyone? So what they will do, they will going to make a use of a private blockchain. Yes or no? Are we all clear? Private blockchain and private blockchain. Yes or no? And then there are semi-private blockchains as well. So semi-private blockchains are basically you can use the benefits of the public blockchain and you can make it hybrid as per your use. So they are combination of public and private blockchain, which is a semi-private blockchain. And then you have a side chains, right? We'll not discuss more about the side chain because it is not fairly popular as of, but then there are published permissions lasers. So permissions, basically, let's say you want to use for your own group as of now, and you want to give the permissions to the individual and you want to limit some permissions. So even using the blockchain architecture, you want to make a permissioned solution or architecture in your solution which you are implementing, then you are going to use the permission layer. For example, in a company like an organization or a university, for example, there should be some permission to be given, like for publishing a paper which will go to all students. There should be, we want to use a blockchain, but then let's say you want to use that trust mechanism, but then also we want to leverage the permissions where some critical stages are involved, then we are going to use the permissions ledger, right? That is also one part of a blockchain. Then there is a shared ledger, and then there is a tokenized blockchain and tokenless. Tokenized blockchain is basically when you are doing something, you are processing something, you are giving some tokens to yeah, yes, sir, absolutely. Delegation of authority, you can say, that's the right word, right? And then there are tokenized blockchains and tokenless blockchain. Tokenized blockchains are what? So when you are using a blockchain and you want to use some transaction rewards, like whenever every individual or a node in a Bitcoin do the transaction, they get a Bitcoin as a reward. So those are called tokens. So few of the blockchains like Ethereum is having gas, blockchain is having Bitcoin. If you want to set up some of a value when someone mines it on some transaction happens, you want to transfer them value, you can put the token, and then there can be a tokenless blockchain as well, where you are not putting any tokens, but you are just using it for a transaction purposes or a transfer of information, for example, right? Let's say asset management system where you don't want to, you just want to maintain your assets information on a blockchain, but then you don't want to give any rewards for making either of the transaction, or any token value is not involved, right? For that, you will going to use the tokenless blockchain, right? And this is a nutshell guys, this is a nutshell of how blockchain hierarchy looks like. There is on top, there is a distributed ledger, there is a blockchain. You can use multiple types of blockchain and various special purposes as well, right? So just to give you a glance, right? Are we all aligned, everyone? Yes or no? Any questions we have? Are we all good? We have a few more 30 more minutes. So I want to make sure I want to cover a couple of most important things. Are we all good so far? Yes or no? Please give me a heads up. Thank you. Now, consensus, right? I want to touch this term so that you all are aware. Like you will heard this term so many times when you talk about the blockchain, right? Whenever someone talks about the blockchain, this word you will definitely heard about it, right? Now, consensus are different types of consensus. Like I said, just a second. So I have made a detailed documentation of different types of consensus. Let me just pull it for you guys. So far, what you can do, just read through the slide. I'll give you the link so that I don't want to involve so much time in explaining the consensus, but you have everything about the consensus understanding. Let me get through that link. Just a second. Please read through the slide meanwhile. Thank you. Alrighty, I got it. So this is the I have prepared this published document. You can go through this document. I hope IT team will give you all the chats and links which we are typing here. So consensus is basically a backbone of the blockchain. So it provides decentralization of a control through an optional process known as a mining. So not all the blockchain will have mining, but it is basically an approval algorithm, right? So if you want to govern anything in a blockchain, the mechanism is called a consensus mechanism. Now there are multiple type of mechanism involved. When you talk about consensus, there are multiple type of consensus involved. Based on the uses and the applicability, you will be able to if you're using this from a laptop or a system, you can open up that doc. Otherwise, let me just pull it out of you. Will not go in detail, but just to give you a glance, right? So there are multiple consensus algorithms involved, like proof of work, proof of stake, delegated proof of stake. You can read through it. I have kept it as layman as it can possible, right? I have given you the document so you can go through. So these are all the consensus mechanisms which are involved in the blockchain, right? Are we all aligned, everyone? I hope everybody goes through after the session, or maybe you save this slide link somewhere, which will be helpful for you. Make sense, everyone? Are we all good? Yes or no? Very good. So consensus in a nutshell is nothing but algorithm which is going to use within the blockchain itself. There are multiple types. The doc is there. You can go through and make a most out of it, right? Now, why blockchain is important? I think we have covered this. So let me just keep through this slide. Okay. Now, this is also a conceptualization, which I think we already discussed. So let me just keep through this slide very fast. Perfect. Now there are tons of applications and case studies. I have created a dedicated document also for it. So I'll try and give you after this session, maybe if you want to, if you guys are interested in learn about the use cases and case studies of the blockchain, there is a huge, a couple of them we are going to discuss here. So one of the most popular is an Everledger. So this is an Everledger. You can Google it about it. This is one of the ledger which is used for diamond storing. So for a diamond storing, they are using an application or a ledger or a blockchain which is called an Everledger, right? One of the venture funds are using the application is called DAO. There are so many, guys. I mean, there are so many, right? You can use into any industry that you come across, right? You, like I said, you think about the industries you can use the blockchain for, right? You name the industry, but then there is also a question and answer for those industry where you can use the blockchain and where you cannot use the blockchain. But almost all the industries you can use the blockchain. Where to use, where not to use.